Welcome back to another episode of Decoded, a Lost Codex Podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'm the writer, director, and narrator for the Lost Codex episodes. Today, for the second time, I am joined by Jeffrey, the other half of the Lost Codex. Jeffrey, welcome back. This is the first time you're on with the new Decoded layout. No one else has been on. No one else has been on the double cam.
I am actually the first one to use the thing I made.
That's it.
That's nice.
You finally get to test it. I did the solo one last podcast, but haven't gotten to use the second cam. And there's a 3-cam one that we'll use one day as well. So if you guys haven't watched, or if you guys have watched our podcast every week now, it was 20 episodes ago that you would have last heard or seen from Jeff. Jeff was obviously in the opening Lost Codex Decoded podcast, and I asked Jeff about 20 minutes ago, I'm like, what day did that go live? And we actually put it out on our second birthday for Lost Codex, which makes a lot of sense. And we're going to talk about all that. We're actually going to talk about a lot about the Lost Codex. This is more like an update for the Lost Codex and stuff like that. But there's news to talk about first. So we're just going to dive into some of the news, and there's some controversial news too. So let's see how edgy we can get. Uldir went live this week. Jeff, did you dive into Uldir? You're not in the raiding guild, are you?
No, the raiding guild I was in imploded in Warlords of Draenor because we couldn't handle the 20-man requirement for mythics. We were a 10-man raiding guild ever since probably the end of Wrath of the Lich King. So yeah, we tried to fuse twice, and when the second fusion died, every other raider just went their own way, and I'm like, well, I was trying to make the decision of either going into more machinima or stay raiding, and well, basically the choice was made for me. So it was more machinima.
Here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. But that sucks though, because guilds falling apart. That's always, everyone I talk to who has like a guild falling apart story, there's always drama, like, ooh, tell me more. But then there's always the, man, I like that guild. Like, it's like I've been a family of mine for a couple of years now. I've had 3 guilds fall apart. One in my vanilla days, and as a kid, I didn't know what was going on. And then once in Wrath, and once in the Warlords Mists transition. And they weren't all ugly, but it was like, man, I kind of miss the feeling of being in a guild.
Yeah. It wasn't ugly in that sense. It was just a shame that because in both guilds that we joined, we were in a couple of weeks or something. We did a couple of raids, and then most of the people from the other guild stopped playing the game. So we were we were short people again.
So you fused with a guild that wasn't even playing.
Apparently, after a couple of weeks.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So you didn't get into Uldir. I didn't get into Uldir. So I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of screenshots. We need to get to Uldir. Latest enchantment, carry Jeff, and I got a couple of people in the rest of the Discord. Only latest enchantment are the only EU, and Gooby. Sorry, Gooby too. Everyone else, come carry me. But
I did get into Uldir with latest on the beta realm.
That's right. You went into the testing
to take some screenshots, take some video.
You went to test the bosses. Air quotes.
Yeah, I created a shaman. I did some looking around because holy hell, what's the ability called again? I
was like, the ability that you can use to see far. Yeah. Farsight.
That ability is broken beyond belief. You can literally, if you somehow manage to find a spot to root it, you can literally go beyond the room you're in. It's pretty good for video taking.
Well, with the video machinima tool broken, we have to make do with what we've got. So
until Blizzard gives us something new.
Blizzard, you listen to this? Come on, Blizzard, help us out. Help out the machinima community. So you've been into Uldir. I have not, but our friends over at the Daily Grind, Mike, Anthony, Alvam, Stefan, their guild got 7 out of 8 in the first week. So congratulations, guys. And they're many of them haven't raided in many years. You know, they're just very casual. They're just going in to have fun, and 7 out of 8.
I
don't even know if
are
they
we
killed
talking about 7 out of 8, normal or heroic?
normal. But it was like I think their first time going in. And again, just to have fun, someone might be like, "That's not impressive. That's just normal." It's like these guys are just literally. A couple of them are playing classes they've never played. The guild leader Anthony hasn't played a rogue ever, and was in there on his rogue. So, congratulations to the daily grind for 7 out of 8. They may have killed Gahoon. I haven't actually asked them how they did, but Uldir is out, and I can't wait to dive in LFR because that's the only way I'll get to see it, or 3 expansions from now when I'm farming for the MOG. Warfronts also went live, and that is a juicy topic right now.
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't really add to that because I'm Alliance, and I've done my quests in Arathi this week, and now I can't because the Horde is taken over.
So I believe when the reset happens, or actually I don't even know what happens. I don't even know what happens tomorrow, or no, tomorrow I guess is my reset, not EU reset. But when the servers reset, I don't know if all those rares respawn. Technically the battle's ongoing, so I don't think so. I think the concept of Warfronts is really cool. I think Warfronts, the MOBA style, the very obvious Warcraft 3 throwbacks is a really cool concept. And there's some things that I'm kind of, if you go on Reddit or the forums or Twitter, there's a lot of...
Oh, wow. Careful there.
Comments.
That's a pit.
There's a lot of comments right now calling it the beta for Azeroth. And I agree in some elements. I do believe that Warfront still has so much more potential and there's room for improvement. The fact that it took a week to gather resources, so it was basically dependent on the Horde faction for EU. Mm-hmm. US got Warfronts a day before you guys, and EU Horde collected more resources faster. So you guys actually got to test for the first time. EU got to test something for the first time. First,
I did notice. I think it was yesterday that the Horde thing went live, and it actually broke the LFR tool.
Did it?
For group. Yeah, it didn't work. You couldn't queue for island expeditions. You couldn't queue for custom groups for mythic dungeons. You couldn't queue for anything because the entire system was just a spinning beach ball thing.
That's
and I think it was for at least a couple of hours on Sunday, so that got a little bit of a kickback in the general chat.
I know you can't, so it's a 20-man raid, but you can't queue as a raid. So if you and your guild group, you can't queue up with your group, pretty much. You can't queue up with a guild. It's a randomly generated run. But it's if it's a 20-man run, why?
Yeah, why can't you?
Why can't I run with my guild, kind of thing? And to me, that just seems like a mistake. It doesn't seem like Blizzard's like, no, we don't want you to play with your guild. That doesn't seem like it just seems maybe like an oversight. The thing I have a problem with Warfronts is it took a week to gather resources. And this could just be, grapevine misinformation. I heard it took 3 days. I don't know where that came from. I don't have a source. Again, this is probably just armchair video game developers saying it's going to take 3 days, and then that news spreads. I don't know who said that or where that came from. If it was Blizzard themselves, someone else. I thought it was 3 days, so I thought, okay, it's the battles are going to swap 3 days. It's going to take 3 days to gather resources. The Horde's going to do their battles for 3 days, and then the Alliance are going to do it. So basically, you get a chance twice per week. Each faction alternates twice per week. That didn't happen, so it took 6.5 days, or
took a little bit longer.
5.5 for, I guess, EU. And now, in order for you to do the battle, Jeff, as an Alliance, you have to wait 6 more days for this battle to be over. Then you have to wait another 6 days to collect resources. Then you can queue. So you may see it before BlizzCon.
So I can't even join the whole battle thing at all now.
Not for 2 weeks, no.
Wow.
So when this Warfront is over, presumably the resets are going to the rares are going to reset. And it's kind of like Timeless Isle, right? You could kill the Timeless Isle rares, I believe it was once per week. And so I'm curious to see, when US resets tomorrow, will my Arathi rares be reset out of the instance or not? We'll find out. Let's say they are. That means at least you have something to do on Wednesday. You can go back and kill all your Arathi rares and try to get a couple more pieces of loot. But in order to do the Battle for Stromgarde, attacking the Horde,
I'll need to wait 2 weeks.
Pretty much 2 weeks. And to me, that's like... That... I don't necessarily agree with time-gated stuff. I get why they do it. You know, they don't want someone to complete all of the quests in one day. And then them to say, hey, bullshit, there's nothing to do. So I get why there's time gating. This just seems not... It
seems a bit excessive if you compare it to what was the Cataclysm one, the island thing, Tol Barad, I think? Tol something?
Yeah, the island of Tol Barad, kind of like an Ashran battle, how it was every couple hours. It was, you know, if you missed one battle or two battles, there was a time for you to get caught up. You
didn't have to wait,
And I understand Blizzard's reasoning for making the Warfronts last a couple of days, because what if you work like, you know, 12-hour, 14-hour shifts 4 days in a row, right?
I've got a super busy week. I mean, I have no weekends next weekend, so thankfully I can't do Warfronts now because...
Exactly. So I get why, but it's kind of like it's 7 days and the other faction does nothing for 7 days. And then they have 6 days to collect, which doesn't involve much anyways. So I don't know.
Not work because I am Alliance only. I have no idea what this whole collecting.
So to collect resources, you have to... There's going to be a whole bunch of... In the Borealis Harbor, there's going to be a whole bunch of NPCs, one associated with each profession. So, and I believe it's a daily, so I don't know if it's a daily or if it's a weekly, but you get 150 rep with 7th Legion. You can go to the tailor person and you can hand in, let's say, 60 cloth and you get a little bit of rep and you contribute to the war effort. You go to the alchemist person and there's one particular Kulturas potion that alchemists make that you hand in 3 of those and you get reputation. So basically, a lot of people are making money by selling these things on the auction house.
Oh, God.
You can also donate gold, so you can donate, I think it's 100 or 1,000 gold to get a little bit of rep. You could donate.
Excuse me?
There goes Jeff, your inner goblin showing.
My inner goblin, my inner Scrooge McGnome is showing. Sorry.
There's war resources you can hand in and something else you can hand in. And I think you can do them all once, or maybe they're delayed. And you get rep for them, and it contributes to the bar, but it's like, I don't there has to be another way. Like, give us something to do out on the field, out in Arathi killing rares. Like, give us contribution efforts by killing rares. It's very much like, actually, Lord Creon said in chat here, it's like the AQ pre-event when we had to collect war supplies. And it's very medieval. Like, it's medieval. I don't mean medieval like medieval fantasy. I mean medieval like old school vanilla mechanics where it's very delayed and slow. This doesn't feel like modern World of Warcraft. This feels... intentionally slow. And let's save the intentionally painfully right. Yeah. Like I'm confused. Let's just save the intentionally painfully slow stuff for legacy servers, because we all know that that's going to be painfully slow to level 260. Probably just lost 4 viewers for saying that, but whatever. I don't get it. And I've rambled too much about this. I really hope the pacing is fixed, because 6 days of hitting a daily quest and handing in, that's not interactive. That's not fun.
Is that going to take longer if the game loses popularity? I mean, we are right at the start of this expansion. This is like a peak moment.
Right.
There will be other peaks at major patches, but it's going down at some point. There's going to be a couple of months between patch 8.3, 8.4, and then whatever patch 9 is, whatever the next expansion will be. Will it last 6 days again, or will we need to work 2 weeks to get our one little week of Warfronts, if Warfronts are even useful by then?
So
I mean, if they keep giving the same kind of loot, it's going to get old in like 1 or 2 raid tiers, I think, right?
Well, I think the intention is there's going to be new war fronts in every patch. I think Warfronts Barrens is being talked about. We're going to eventually attack the Barrens. So they're going to give us new war fronts, new battle sites to go to. But I think it's going to be almost like the Mage Tower or the Mage Tower and the other buildings on the Broken Shore, where, you know, as we got closer to 7.3, or when Argus dropped, the amount of popularity on the Broken Shore dropped. So Blizzard kind of compensated. You know, they didn't let it take 7 weeks to get one building for 2 days. They raised the rate at which that bar grew. I think that sort of tech will come into play here. So it won't take, 13 days because whatever reason. I think Blizzard's
because there's only a single gnome.
There's one gnome.
There's one gnome handing in his dailies, and that's it.
Actually, Splendour brings up a good point here. I hope the war fronts are on a different schedule, one up while the other is down. That would be an incentive.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think story-wise 2 war fronts are going to happen at the same time, but like replayability. I think Warfronts have a ton of potential. I really hope Blizzard is looking at a lot of the feedback. And remember, guys, if you're giving feedback, give constructive feedback. Say what's wrong. Don't say we, the community, hate this. No. Tell Blizzard what you hate. Don't speak for other people. Let them speak up. And then offer a solution, or at least tell them what you think is wrong. Don't resort to insult. There's no reason. Just say, hey, I don't like this for ABC. Blizzard wants feedback. They don't, need to be berated. And there's going to be that one guy who says, don't tell me what to do. Fine, be a dick if you want, right. But don't be a dick, because that's not cool.
Have fun on Reddit.
Have fun on Reddit. Reddit is a cesspool right now. But Reddit's good. But there's also like I went on the front page for 3 days in a row now, and it's just all. Actually, one of the top posts today was, man, this subreddit isn't fun anymore because it's all just really aggressive comments, and I think they're fair. I think they're fair comments, but don't join in a mindless circle jerk. Actually provide feedback. That's my thoughts. That's what I think. The BlizzCon codes went out, so if you're going to BlizzCon and you bought a ticket from someone and you didn't buy your own ticket, contact your original ticket buyer, because those went out today. Jeff got like a million emails today.
I can confirm I've been helping several people get tickets in all 3 runs, and my inbox was like, "Oh, you want tickets?"
I was like, "Yeah, Jeff, I got no emails. Jeff, did you get any?" He's like, "No, not yet." And then 10 minutes later, "Oh yeah, I got 12." I was like, "Oh, okay."
So what?
So I have anyone who's watching who bought a BlizzCon ticket for me. I have your BlizzCon ticket, and I will shoot that email over to you. Speaking of BlizzCon, the goodie bag is supposedly released on MMO Champion.
The goodie bag.
I believe it was supposed to be September 12th. They were supposed to do a live stream to reveal it, but Ivan Global is a website. I don't know. Inven Global, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they have an article about the BlizzCon goodie bag, and I saw Perculia from Wowhead say that the embargo was lifted. So I guess this is it. This is legit. We'll throw some pictures here up on screen for the YouTube upload. If you're watching this live on Twitch, go to MMO Champion front page, literally the first post. And the box is interesting. I think a lot of people are comparing to last year's, and that's hard to do last year when the goodie bag itself was literally a bag, literally a backpack. That's going to be hard to beat. They've done a satchel. They've done a backpack.
And last year's was actually fun with all the patches. They created an entire new economy with that.
They did, and I was talking to someone about that recently. And for anyone who doesn't know, at BlizzCon, you've got your panels, right? You got your Hearthstone, Diablo, Warcraft panels to visit. Then you have your booths, games to test, and then there's the sponsors. There's Razer, Asus, Gigabyte, Jinx. Basically anything to do with gaming, nerd culture, anything like that. They have little booths there that you go test their products, and there's often like a scavenger hunt in the box that says, go visit the Asus booth and play a demo, and you'll get the clue to the next booth and stuff like that. And a lot of people do it, but there's always been almost a forced scavenger hunt to do that not everyone wants to do. Oh crap, I have to visit 12 booths the next 2 days. and there's so much esports.
You need to take selfies at like 6 booths and
Right,
post
right.
these Twitter hashtags.
Oh yeah, you're gonna take a lot of selfies. So what Blizzard did last year, and it was actually so brilliant, was the goodie bag itself was a backpack that had a coating of Velcro in the front, and in your goodie bag you got the logo of each Blizzard game included with your goodie bag with Velcro hooks on it, so the little sticky patches. Then there was blind packs of patches you could get from the Blizzard store that had, the symbol of Reinhardt, or little Cupid Deadly icons and other well-known characters from all their franchises. But what they really excelled at, there was, I think, 20 to collect, and you could get 5 random ones, so they wanted you to buy more. And what was really smart is all of the sponsors had their own patches as well. Not only patches of so if you go to the Asus booth, you could get an Asus icon in patch form, but they also had maybe a Diva icon that was only accessible at that booth. So it encouraged you, if you wanted to get these patches, you were forced essentially to go to these different booths and interact with them, beyond just a simple, take a selfie for a scavenger hunt, which I think is cool, but it's also a little bit tiresome. This, you were actually physically, here's a patch, you're rewarded, kind of thing. And if you were in the talent contest, you got a special talent contest one. If you went to a community Blizzard party, you got a Blizzard community party one. If you got randomly selected by... there was a couple of Blizzard employees walking around with really rare ones, and they would gift them out. There was Mercy Wings that were super, super sought after.
Yeah, those went for couple of $100 on eBay a couple of days later. I'm like, that's overdoing it, but yeah, that sort of stuff. And I remember going to play a game of Heroes of the Storm. I think was this the BlizzCon where they released Hanzo and Alexstrasza?
Yes, because Mike went to go buy the Battle for Azeroth shirt, and instead he was given a Hanzo and Alexstrasza shirt instead.
That's something.
So every time I see him, I'm like, nice Battle for Azeroth shirt.
I went to play the game. I actually played Alexstrasza, and I actually did some pretty good healing for my. I mean, I haven't played Heroes of the Storm in any capacity in way too long. But we won the game, we got the patch, and they were out of Little Ragnaros patches. So I got a duplicate Diablo patch, because of course they have duplicate Diablo patches, because who goes to Diablo?
What's Diablo?
What is Diablo? Is Diablo at this BlizzCon?
Ooh, that's something to talk about. Just kind of tying up the patches. So I thought it was, I was trading with people. I was trying to get duplicates, and that economy, that incentive is kind of gone this year. Unless I imagine people are going to bring their bags, because it's a really handy personal size backpack. It's not too big, a lot of room in there.
I use it for my work actually.
Same. I bring it to work every day. But are they going to do the patches again? That was it was a one-time thing, I think, and I really loved it. So I'm kind of wondering how in the future, I don't know. How are they going to get me to visit the Razer booth? I mean, if they tell me I get a free thing, I'm like, hey, I'm here. But there was that collective aspect of it,
and that's completely gone this year. At least if this is everything that's in there, that's completely gone. There's no aspect of randomness in here. It's a couple of pins, it's a couple of magnets, it's the book, which I'm actually pretty interested in. I realize we haven't
even talked about what's in it yet. We've just talked about last year's goodie bag. So for this year's goodie bag, it's a box, which is standard. They usually comes in a box. And in that box, there is a BlizzCon photo book. So apparently it's going to feature pictures from past BlizzCons, and I guess places maybe to sign some autographs and stuff like that. So it's like a little autograph book maybe. I'm surprised that came out this year, considering next year is the 10th BlizzCon, or...
No, it's not. I think last year, the one with the Stein was
10?
BlizzCon number 10.
Okay, so
last year was 11. Next year would be 12. And
no, next year's 15 years of WoW. Okay, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess this makes sense for what it is now. It comes with a little Diablo action figure, and very, very tiny little figure.
Nicely detailed, though.
Nicely detailed. Whose symbol is that? That's the Raven Lord from Heroes. That's a magnet. So if you guys got the collector's edition Battle for Azeroth thing, it kind of looks like this, but like not a 2D coin. It's a magnet, but it looks like it's a hefty one.
You're not gonna stop me from slapping that onto our fridge.
Yes, because you're gonna throw it behind the fridge, Jeff. We have a Overwatch coin. I don't know if that's a magnet as well. No, it's not. It's a coin. Okay. Hearthstone magnets, which are always fun. They've done that before.
Fridge.
StarCraft pins. And a World of Warcraft keychain that has a champion of the and on one side and an enemy of the and a little horde or alliance icon you can spin around. A bunch of little
exactly
collectible
like
doodads.
That keychain is exactly like the one I got in Canada when I visited.
Yeah,
That's actually on my house key.
Oh, that's cute. Now you can have
Trying
this.
to replace Canada with the Horde.
Wow, don't you play? You play Alliance. So what do you think? What do you think of this year's goodie bag, Jeff?
I like it. I'm curious about the photo book because I like books.
You do like books. I like books,
But it's the I'm missing the little random elements, the little collectible thing.
Yeah, there's usually an included. I mean, they're gonna have blind pins, obviously, but usually we get something. I don't know.
Something to trade.
Something to trade, and I often feel like when they include one free Cupid Deadly or one free pin, that it's almost a cop out because you can buy this from the store. So one part of me is like, hey, I'm glad that we're not getting an item we can just buy from the store again. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess the BlizzCon book itself kind of fills the void of being that collectible BlizzCon item. A lot of people say it's garbage. It's not as good. But I think people are looking at the Stein year. We got a whole Stein. Wish I had not accessible right now. I have a Stein. It's not the Stein, but it's a Stein.
Mine is in the cabinet behind me. Is it behind me? Let me check my own camera.
Activision has taken over DLC goodie bag. Remember last year they had the extended goodie bag for extra money. That's what's happening from now on. So they may have an extended goodie bag.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mention it. That's a good point, actually.
You could pay extra and get a little bit extra. But it usually included like store goodies that you could just buy anyway. And if you bought the store goodies independently, it was like $35. But if you bought the add-on, it was only $20. So you saved money if you saved money.
I'm all for saving money.
Issei Silva's here in chat. I saw you earlier, but Jeff was in the middle of talking. I didn't want to interrupt him. We've got Issei Silva. A whole bunch of people are here in chat. But this is not a BlizzCon podcast. And as I say that, our next topic is BlizzCon key art. It is also out on MMO Champion. It's not confirmed to be the BlizzCon key art. It might be at this point, but it came with the BlizzCon email. It was shown at Gamescom. I love seeing the key art because it's that thing you're going to be surrounded by at BlizzCon. So this year the Horde, the WoW symbol for the key art is Sarfang. We've got Diablo representing Diablo. We've got McCree representing Overwatch. We've got the Lord of Ravens. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Ava, I think she's called Ava and Sarge, the rats from Hearthstone.
Yes, Ava and Sarge from Hearthstone, the little rat and the little girl with a bunch of magic around her. The Lord of Ravens, which makes sense with the Lord of Ravens coin, and insert Terran Marine here. I want to say it's Daikus. That looks like there's a cigar in his mouth. I mean, they all smoke cigars.
They all smoke cigars, and they're all beefy, burly men in big suits. So
one of those guys. Go check out the. It's a Terran. It's not the Terran, but it's a Terran. Go check out the BlizzCon key art on the front page of MMO Champion. I'm sure Wowhead has it as well. And they're going to be selling individual posters of those, I assume, at BlizzCon. So that's cool. But this is not a BlizzCon. Go ahead.
I've got the last year's key art hanging right above my work area, so not quite sure if I'm going to replace that this year. But
you bought the Hearthstone, the wizard.
Yeah, that's hanging in my hall. Waldo, I don't know.
Is it Waldo? Aldo? I don't know. Anyway, enough BlizzCon, because we're gonna have like 6 BlizzCon podcasts. This is not about BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Something else, one last piece of news. It's not news. It's just really cool. Blizzard actually teamed up with ArtStation to publish a whole bunch of stuff for Battle for Azeroth this week. Today they released the dungeon environment art for Battle for Azeroth. So if you go to their Twitter account, by there I mean World of Warcraft's Twitter account, you will see a link linking you to ArtStation. Link will be down in the description below on YouTube. And basically you see a whole bunch of concept both loading screens, in-game stuff, all sorts of cool assets for all the dungeons, all the places in World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. And the reason we thought we'd include that in the podcast is it's very relevant to what Jeff and I do with the videos. Is, Jeff, you were saying before we went live that there's a lot of shots that they have that we can't get those in-game because Blizzard has their own camera tool, right? So there's a lot of really cool shots that we're never going to be able to get.
And some of them we will be able to get. Yeah, exactly. Flying will be available at some point, but it isn't right now. So some of these shots are literally unavailable to us right now.
So go check that out. That's on the YouTube, World of Warcraft Twitter account. All right, let's dive into the actual podcast topic. Now, we're episode 21, guys. 21 for Decoded. Just under 5 months ago, we went live with our very first episode where Jeff and I talked about our origin story. If you guys have just started listening to Decoded and you haven't had a chance to listen to episode 1, I really encourage you to, because you get to hear the full story of how the Lost Codex came to be, and how Jeff and I met, and how the Lost Codex idea was born, and just all the cool stuff. We really went into our own backstories, our own origin story, and how the Holocore and the Codex bloomed.
Our own superhero origin stories.
Yes, there's narration and everything, flashbacks. And that's the last time Jeff was on. Freak accidents, a lot of tests. So go listen to that. Stop listening to this right now and go listen to that. No, don't do that. But we wanted to do a little bit of a reflection on what's happened in general with the Lost Codex since then. You know, a lot of episode 1 was talking about the early days, and we want to talk about how far we've come now. And so we're going to dive right into it. I just gonna get a quick drink here because my drink is we're actually gonna pause. We're gonna do a quick bio break because we are at the 30-minute mark here, and I feel this is gonna be the actual bulk of the podcast. So if you need a drink, or you need to go to the washroom, or you need to grab a snack, or do whatever, now's your chance. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. Be right back.
Chromie, do your thing.
We're back. All right.
Hello there.
Hello. So, right into it. 2 years and almost 5 months ago, the Lost Codex was born. And we are now at almost 25,000 subscribers. Maybe by the time this podcast is out, we will be at the 25K mark. We are literally less than 50 away from the 25K mark.
25K, wow.
That's a pretty good milestone. We have there's a giveaway I think we wanted to do for the 25K. Either 25K or 30K. We got a pretty cool giveaway that I almost forgot about. We also passed, and I don't know how long ago we surpassed this, the 1 million views mark on YouTube. We are 1,200,000 views and some odd numbers here and there, which is,
it's over 1 million.
That is mind blowing. And I know, like, in big YouTube numbers, I know that's not huge, but for us that's huge. For us that is like, man, that is a Jeff, let's do a high five through the cameras. High five that way. Hey, there we are. That is a pretty good.
I hit you.
Sorry, Jeff. That is a pretty good milestone for us, and I think it's something to be proud of. We definitely. I'm eager to see where we'll be this time next year. Growth is a weird thing.
Yeah,
I think you and I have found that, Jeff, that it's not predictable at all. Trying to think, what was the situation? It was right before BlizzCon last year. We were sitting at about 17,000 views, and I get a ping on Twitter, and it's a DM from Bellular, and he's like, "Hey, yo, what's up? I saw your Origins of the Universe video, and I was wondering if I could use the footage in the background of my upcoming video." I said, "Absolutely, let's do it." He goes, "I'll give you full credit, shout out," and I said, "Yeah, that's cool. That's it's an honor, man. Thank you." And off he goes and does his video, and he says, "By the way, the footage in the background was made by the guys over at the Lost Codex. Go check them out." That's all he said. It was a very, he was talking about the topic of light and shadow, and Jeff had made this custom explosion of light and shadow. Overnight, we got like 3,000 subscribers from Bellular's shoutout, and by the end of it, like after 72 hours, we were from 17.5 thousand to like 22.5.
Yeah, we were over the 20.
Yeah, it was like, so it took us so many months to go from like 15k to 17k, and then over the course of a weekend, we went up like 5k. Yeah. So 22 point something k. A year later, where we are now, we've gone up 3k. So there's an example of how how growth works on YouTube.
And I think most of that growth has come as a result of the reaction videos. As much as that is not our core business, it does, through the magic of YouTube's algorithm, bring in the views. So
it does. And we should talk about YouTube algorithms, because clickbait, as awful as it is,
we do not enjoy creating these types of thumbnails that we have been the last time, but they do work.
And I'm going to show you some evidence here, and by show you, I mean just say it out loud. Our average Decoded podcast on YouTube, because podcasts aren't a thing to watch on YouTube. If someone sees a 2-hour video, they go, "Ugh, I don't want to watch that." But the point of our podcast isn't exactly to look at me or listen necessarily. It might be to just to listen rather than watch, kind of thing. So our average view is, we have here episode 17 was the night before Launch Miss, and it was Jack and I rambling, 2.4 thousand views. We go to Battle for Azeroth, the Heart of the Horde, and was Sylvanas out of character, and that was a 5,000 view one because it had Sylvanas on the front. We have the World Tree Burning with Zuanich, and that was 3.2 thousand views. So between 3,000 and 5,000 is an average number. Last week's new allied races leaked. Clickbait to the max. 16,000 views, which, again, that's not huge in YouTube numbers, but for us, when our average podcast is 2 to 5, that is blatantly there. And like the increased amount of downvotes is blatantly obvious. But the views are there as well. So it's, unfortunately,
we should check out the analytics. We should check out when most of the people tap out of that video. Like, see if it happens in like the first 5 seconds, and like it starts at this way up and then goes.
Well, a lot of the comments were just get to the point, and so I put a timestamp in the description saying, "Hey, like, this is a podcast.
This is the point.
This is the point. The point of this is X marks the spot if you don't want to listen to me talk for an hour." And I don't think people realized it was a podcast. They just saw the very Bellular like thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I say that in good fun, because I'm a big fan of how easy to follow Bellular's videos are. There is clickbait in almost everyone's content thumbnails, but
these days definitely.
But the difference between our podcast and Bellular's video is maybe 20 minutes. Ours was an hour and a half. So people were like, "Get to the point. I could go watch Bellular," kind of thing. And I said, this is a podcast. This is meant for me to ramble. This only gets 4,000 views max. But the clickbait icon, or the thumbnail rather, worked way better than we thought it would. So just some fun numbers for you guys there. And I've said this before, our lore videos, which is what we're known for, right? We're known for making
these... what we want to be known for.
This is what we want to be known for, right? When we set out, it was the big question that all of those who helped us get off the ground, the big question was, how are you going to differ yourselves from other creators? Not that there's a one person, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, hierarchy. There's not a one-person stage. There are multiple YouTubers, channels, streamers, Twitch that you could watch. But what makes you different? What makes you stand out? And I thought, well, I can narrate, and I'm decently, well equipped to write scripts, and plus that with Jeff's machinima skills and editing, plus our history together, let's try it. And it's kind of what we're known for.
We can do things differently. We can do things our way and deliver a different type of product. You could call it that. So that's what we did.
That's actually, it's a different type of product. And a lot of people, will compare us in a good or bad way to, let's say, Novel. And it's like, no, Novel's content and our content is different. Novel, I wish I could dive as much as I could into the lore and details of this. But that means Jeff has to animate a 30-minute long video, and that sounds like a nightmare. He's blinking several times right now. There is PTSD going on in his head. Because it is, our average video, 7 to 9 minutes on average?
I think a 10-minute video is long in our branch of work.
And that takes a good, the visual element of it takes 3+ weeks to do. And we're going to talk about that in comparison with the podcast, since I have Jeff here in just a second, but that's kind of the vision. We want to provide short, easy to digest in canon or in world explanations of the lore, but there are many other YouTubers out there, some more well known than others, that really dive into all the different elements of it. And while I would love to do that our type of content is a little bit different, and that's what we set out to do. And this all started when Jeff brought up the reaction videos. We noticed our sub count jumping high when we started doing those with Jack. And just to give you an example, the Teldrassil video, 3.3 thousand views. We did that on August 13th, the day Battle for Azeroth went live. Might have been the reason why I didn't get a lot of views. But our reaction videos for
cinematics, the Warbringers.
The Warbringers, Jaina, is 30,000 views. Sylvanas, 28,000 views. Sarfang, Old Soldier, 26,000 views. Battle for Lordaeron, 21,000 views. So, YouTube algorithms are not on our side. Nope. That's just, and I remember Total Biscuit made a comment on Twitter months ago. It was during that whole Logan Paul bullcrap. It was when we were in jail. It's when Lost Codex was YouTube jail.
Oh, yeah.
And
we were in jail and Logan Paul wasn't.
And Logan Paul wasn't. He was filming horrible things in Japan. And questionable, horrible things. And Total Biscuit said,
gray.
This guy he gets his videos up on YouTube for 8 hours before they get taken from YouTube, while YouTube is busy banning small YouTube channels that probably took 4 weeks to make a video. And I was like, is he low-key talking about us? Because that just happened. It takes us 4 weeks to make a video, and we're banned right now. Anyway, that's some of the problems we've come to face, but it's something that we're not going to dismiss, right? The reaction videos, people like that stuff, and I love talking about them. I don't maybe get people wants to see my reaction, but cool. That's if people want to see me, my jaw drop and me look around and shock. That's cool. That's not what we set out to do, but we're kind of like, okay, we gotta adapt our pace here. We got to change it up a little bit, which is why we started doing Beyond the Sanctum.
And in a sense, that's also your chance to go into a little bit of a deep dive, into a little bit of theory crafting.
Exactly. And while I love to do that on the podcast, the podcast is its own. And so we have here, in my notes here, we have it broken down. We have, our Decoded and then Beyond the Sanctum. And with Decoded, it allows me and my co-host, whether it's Jeff, Jack, Issei, who has been on in a while. Issei, we got to bring you back. Shannon, Zuanich, Jay the Bard, anyone. It allows the co-host and I to kind of gush just endlessly. If you don't like listening to someone talk for 2 hours, podcasts aren't for you. Chances are you don't listen to podcasts, and that's fine. I get that. You don't want to watch, especially you don't want to watch something. It's good to listen in the background on the way to work while you're grinding, doing your world quests, standing in queue for 4 hours for Warfronts, whatever you want to do. It's not a quick and easy to digest topic, but a reaction video, an analysis, like our 20 to 30 minute long videos, those have a lot higher of a click rate because it's I can dedicate 20 minutes of my time. Or it's 30 minutes, I'll dedicate 15 minutes now, 15 minutes after work kind of thing. Hour and 45 minutes, a little bit different. And I think it's interesting to go into a little bit of detail of how we approach some of these. So with Decoded, Jeff, maybe it's because I'm mainly doing Decoded, like writing the scripts and stuff like this, but are you kind of surprised how well received the podcasts are?
I am. I had always hoped that like our main lore videos would be the ones getting the most attention, the most views. But well, any type of view is a good view at this point.
Right.
So
to be honest, was like, who wants to listen to me talk for more than 10 minutes, let alone 2 hours?
Don't underestimate yourselves.
I did. Flat out, Zillions, our brand manager, was like, the podcast is going to be a good idea. And I was like, don't think so. And wrong. And what's really surprising, and a lot of people have kind of joined the Lost Codex community. And I don't say community like in-game community, but we do have one of those, EU and US. But like the Discord community, and have been brought in via the podcast and then found our lore videos. There's and I try not to, when I'm doing when we're doing these live streams, I try not to talk about the Twitch chat too often because I know people are listening to this on YouTube and don't necessarily want to hear us interact with people they don't see. But there is a viewer, and she was a little upset I didn't mention the Ajara video. Ilun Driss here in chat, Ishura in Discord found our videos through Issei. She found one of Issei's podcasts. Issei linked one of the podcasts she was on. Ishura found the podcast, started listening, started watching, and through that, she found our lore videos and became a fan of us through the podcast. Everyone's calling out that she got called out. And I said to her, how did you find us? And it was because of Issei linking the podcast that she's now a fan of the Lost Codex. And to me, that's really, it's a little bit of a, like, all right, I guess people do like the podcast. This is something people want to, like, I love podcasts. I love listening to the Blizzard Watch podcast. I love listening to Azeroth Roundtable, Lagging Balls, Daily Grind. There's so many podcasts out there, but I guess there's enough lore podcasts. I don't think anyone wanted, but turns out I'm wrong. And that's really cool that people found our lore videos through the podcast. That's actually, people have come to like us as content creators and listen to us have, our opinions before they see what we make. And then they're like, yes, one of the comments from weeks ago with Jack and it was, I came for the shitty reaction video, but I stayed for the quality lore videos. And I was like, thank you. I was like,
nice.
And he goes, I don't mean that as an insult, but reaction videos are a dime a dozen these days. Everyone does one, right? So he was just browsing through and he clicked on it and he started watching it. And then I guess we talk about one of our lore videos in it and he went and checked us out and he goes, I actually like these guys. So I thought that was pretty funny. Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about the production time for Decoded? And because there's a little bit of misconception. I feel like this is a constant topic, but now that I got you here, Evidence, the producer, this is your stage. Go.
Yeah. So question was, I believe, is that people assume that the Decoded podcast takes away a lot of time from our normal production schedule. Actually, it's not that bad. Jesse usually records the podcast when it's nighttime for me because I live in the Netherlands. He lives in Canada. At any point, there's a 6-hour time difference. So while I'm sleeping, he is not sleeping. He's got one of his guests. He's recording the podcast and he sends me the audio. And in these days, I mean, the last couple of podcasts, we've actually gone to download the Twitch VOD and have a video, have our faces shown during the podcast.
And that was just to jump in, that was actually a request from viewers. I didn't think people want, again, a podcast to me is something you want to listen to, so that's why, we're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all that stuff. So when I didn't think that the YouTube ones would get all the views, and they do. And it's people like, hey, can you have visuals? And I was like, we could. Is that something you want? And people were like, yes, we want this. I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Let's get this done.
And where the time-consuming editing used to come into place was, for me anyway, and I'll let Jeff jump back on here, is I would record with my guest via OBS or
Discord,
Zencaster and Discord. And then, but it would be, if my guest and I were talking to each other, we would kind of just troll and derail so often that I would have to really go in and edit a lot of it, because there was a lot of derailings. Yeah. And I found, since doing it live on Twitch, I stay more focused because I'm looking at myself. I'm like, crap, there's an audience here, and I can be held accountable, like, Jesse, back on track kind of thing. And when we did our first podcast with Jack live, Jack and I just totally derailed and talked to the stream chat, and then I realized after, it's probably not fun to listen to someone talk to a chat you can't see. So now when we stream, it's kind of a focus on the stream, and then we have the pre and the after show kind of thing. So the editing has gone down significantly for Decoded in terms of audio. But Jeff, I'll let you hop back on here with the actual visual element of the editing.
Yeah, it depends on what the visual elements need to be. I mean, there have been podcasts that have no visual elements. It's just literally the decoded logo loop and then the audio. So I always add some effects, some mixing to the audio to make the voice sounds pop out, so everyone can hear everyone else talk loud and clear. And then I just slap the loop on that. Sometimes there are images I need to make. Most of the times that's just concept art or other already made art. I think the only exception was the review for the Before the Storm book, the review and the spoiler-free review. Those were kind of visual heavy because that's what we really wanted to, where our Lost Codex started to shine, because we wanted to do those scenes and those events in the Lord Justice. So that's also one of the podcasts that ended up releasing a little bit late.
I think that was was on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was because, and maybe not everyone noticed this because, again, they listened to it on YouTube, but in the review and the spoiler and the non-spoiler, there are images that Jeff used machinima style. He made scenes from Before the Storm. He made Parkwall's reuniting scene. He made Nathanos and Sylvanas yelling scene. He made certain scenes that were so iconic from the book. The chapel scene, one of my favorite scenes. But again, when Jeff said our Lost Codex started to show, it was like, man, we can't not show visuals for something as crazy good as this book. And we're gonna do a small derail here because I think this is actually so funny, but so unbelievable in a good way. So Blizzard sent me Before the Storm months before. So I got a special early access, and it got sent to me. Didn't get sent to Jeff. Jeff was waiting on his copy. But in order to get our video out before, the expired time, I said, Jeff, are you okay with not reading the book? And he's like, I'm okay. And I said, are you okay with spoilers? He's like, I'm okay with spoilers. So
for the Codex,
for the Codex, I'll do it for the Codex. So I told him the key moments that he needed to animate, and we actually made visual elements for the following episode, which is Jack and I talking about our crazy theories about Before the Storm. And there's one particular theory we talk about Bolvar and Bolvar's daughter, and my theory is that Kalia Menethil and Bolvar Fordragon are the parents of a certain character we meet in Kul Tiras. And I went out of my way to say, by the way, Bolvar is canonically this girl's father. But my theory is that Kalia is the mother. That got lost somewhere. Jump in, Jeff. Sorry.
That detail got lost somewhere in my brain.
So
So I go through the entire Alliance experience. I discover that it's in game. I mean,
Bolvar is
the Kultura's Bolvar is her dad, and I'm like, "Yo, Jesse, you were spot on with this. What the hell?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. We already knew it. We did."
I said, "Jeff, we've known this from beta," and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were just really good at guessing." I'm like, "No, Jeff, this wasn't my theory. My theory is Kalia. Bolvar was canon." And so I spoiled it to Jeff, but that got lost. And so he was genuinely surprised when he got to that moment at the end of and I haven't gotten there yet. I know Anduin is introduced to this girl and who her last name is. I knew that happened. But Jeff gets there and he's like, "Man, you were spot on." And I was like, "Yeah, that's because I knew it was lore." So it was actually kind of cool that I ruined something for Jeff, but I actually didn't ruin it for him. It was still a surprise. So that little derail there.
Yeah.
But kind of tying it all together, the Decoded visuals, they're very. It's more, Jeff will say, "By the way, is there any visuals for this podcast?" I'm like, "Yes." At the 12-minute mark, slap in this picture. At the 14 mark, slap in this short clip.
It's usually like timestamps. I slap in the pictures and that's it. It shouldn't take more than like maybe half an hour-ish or something, depending on what kind of picture. I mean, if I need to create a picture myself, that's when it takes a long time. If it's like, oh yeah, at this point, here's a web link, download this picture, put it in, that's it. It's really quite simple. I mean, usually an episode of the Decoded podcast takes about an hour or two to render. It basically renders in real time. So if it's an hour and a half of podcast, it's an hour and a half to render. And the render takes longer than the edit. If that's any indication to you.
So all in all, these podcasts are rather quick, and especially now with the Twitch VOD. It's just a Jeff download the Twitch VOD, slap in the intro, slap in the outro, whatever visual element we need in, and bam, there you go.
Yeah. And I am going to go out of my way sometime in the near future to record a short tutorial for Jesse so that he can do.
I'm going to learn editing,
podcast.
And the view counts go straight down. We have 3 views per podcast. I'm actually, because Decoded was more a pet project that I came up with, I was like, "Jeff, you already spend way too much time locked in your office making these Lost Codex lore videos. You know, after I get you my recording and my script and my directions, I don't want to say, hey, we're introducing another project on top of that." So, but my old PC could not handle editing, could not even handle streaming. Now, got a beautiful new PC. I want to do the editing myself, which is going to require very little. Jeff has the intro, he has the outro. I download the Twitch VOD and I go render. If I mess something up, God help me. The other type of video. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually did record a tutorial, and I had it all like, all right, I've got everything recorded. I put the tutorial video files in my editing program to edit the tutorial together. I'm like, why is there no sound when I play back? And I'm like, oh great, I recorded the tutorial with only my own voiceover, not with the sound from going through the timeline. Right, let's try that again sometime soon, right, Jesse?
Right. So tutorial 1 didn't happen. It's gonna happen soon though. Nope. The other kind of video we do is the Beyond the Sanctum videos, and that was introduced at BlizzCon last year, or right after BlizzCon. We needed to come up with Jeff and I really talked about it in California. We said, what can we want to make non-lore videos, but still lore related to the channel. And I thought we need to take ourselves outside the Codex, outside the Sanctum, and we talked about Beyond the Codex, Beyond the Pages, we came up with Beyond the Sanctum. And that was our BlizzCon interview with Shani Edwards and Alex Frasiabi, starring myself and Jeff off. That was my dog, apologies. Jeff filming our interview for Battle for Azeroth. And after that, we did a couple of analysis and reaction videos for the Argus cinematic and stuff like that. And then there was the period where there wasn't a lot to talk about until recently. And that really started to show with all of the shorts Blizzard came out with, all the in-game cinematics. And that allowed for a lot more discussion to be happening. And though more of those are going to be coming down the line as I get caught up in game. We have the reaction for Zandalar recorded. Haven't done the Jaina one yet, or the Alliance. It's coming, just a little bit delayed. I try to do everything live. And that's another form of content that's a little bit easier. Not quite Decoded easy, but not quite Lost Codex complicated. That takes a couple of hours of editing time, I believe. It's funny enough, the Teldrassil video and the Jaina video, Teldrassil video and what other video came out that day? We put out the Jaina video. The History of the Night Elves Part 4, The Sundering, and the Jaina video came out on the same day. And the reason, we got about 4,000 views for the Night Elf video. That took us, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks. Issei's Ajara artworks in there. It was amazing. Then Blizzard comes out with... I
especially made a long night. I pulled an all-nighter to get that Jaina reaction video out, because I knew, if we do this tomorrow, it's not going to matter as much.
Well, and that's it. Jaina came out, and I said to Jeff, I said, it's late your time, your call. And he's like, you know what? Let's stay up. So Jack and I do our recording. 30,000 views, 4 weeks to make the Ajara video, 4,000 views. And it was like, okay, there's something here. And so Jeff's sacrifice paid off that night. And again, that's just the nature of YouTube. We have to adapt and go from there. So we've got the lore videos, which we're known for, the Decoded Podcast, and the Beyond the Sanctum videos. And with our content creating, our team has also grown a bit. And I thought it would be good to kind of explain and shout out, give proper recognition to some of these people. So, you know my face. Jeff is the other half of the Lost Codex. This is the guy that makes everything, all the visuals you see on screen, everything you see on screen that is not a face of someone. That's Jeff. And so him and I are the patron lords of the Lost Codex, but there's other people on our team. And for those of you watching on the YouTube version, there are going to be some visuals popping up here in just a second. For those of you on Twitch, pretend there's visuals. First person I'd like to give a recognition and shout out to is Zillions. Zillions is our brand manager. She also brand manages for some guy named Final Boss. I don't know who that is. Who? Final Boss, actually, our first Twitch appearance, I believe, was on Final Boss TV.
Yep.
So
I think it was 2 years ago. BlizzCon.
2 years ago, January, or 3 years ago. It was after BlizzCon 2016. So a year, almost 2 years ago, coming up. So Zillions is the brand manager for Final Boss, and the quick origin story. We met her at BlizzCon last year. Final Boss actually stayed in my room at BlizzCon. Had a big suite. It was me, Jeff, all my Canadian friends, and Final Boss. And so Zillions and Final Boss are bringing up all the bags and stuff of his stuff, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Zillions. I'm Adams. I'm Final Boss's brand manager." I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she sees her Lost Codex shirt. She's like, "Oh my god, I want to buy one." I said, "Well, they're not really for sale. We only brought a couple extras to give away." She's like, "All right, you're gonna give me one, and I'm gonna give you money for it, and we're gonna call it a giveaway." And I was like, "Okay, I'm feeling bullied right now." And so she put it on, and the whole night we socialized with her. She introduced us to all these people. We got to talk to Jesse McCree. There's actually a guy named Jesse McCree which is where Jesse McCree from Overwatch came from. At the Calm Before the Storm party, he's now a Diablo developer. We got to talk to so many people, and we introduced her to some people as well. And she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna be a Lost Codex. I'm gonna be the Lost Codex brand manager." I said, "All right, cool. We could use some organization." Okay. And the first thing she did was rework our Patreon. Our Patreon was a disaster. Visually looked good. We didn't know what to offer as rewards.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. And so Z came in and totally reworked everything. And so what we offer now on Patreon, how it's laid out, that's all thanks to Z. She's also a networking goddess, so she talks to everybody, and she's like me, but better. And she talks to so many people, and she's got, Oh, it was one of our videos. I can't remember which video it was. It was one of our Night Elf videos. It was a history. Oh, it was something. I can't remember what it was. I said, "Hey, do you think like you think Wowhead would retweet this?" She goes, "Let me find out." So she goes, "Yeah, we're good. Wowhead's gonna retweet it." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So the video comes out, and Wowhead doesn't retweet it. Wowhead instead puts out an entire article on our video, which was
yeah.
Whoa. I want to say it was the Argus video. It was Antorus, the Burning Throne video, because that came out late.
Oh yeah, the raid video.
The raid video. And so not only did Z and Perk kind of Perculia, it wasn't just a retweet. Perculia wrote up an entire article in the Lost Codex, wrote all about how we were thrown in YouTube jail, where you could find ways to support us, and I was like, holy crap, I was expecting just a little boop retweet button, and we got way much more than that. So Zillions is the organized, if you're on our Discord, she's the other yellow name, the little skull and crossbone hearts up in the top corner. So a proper thanks to Zillions. She's also, and I'm going to tease this, she's also like the merch coordinator for Lost Codex merch coming out, which is...
Did you say merch?
Coming soon. Soon, TM.
Are we talking Jaina's dad's boat's merch?
Yeah, it's going to be just Jaina's dad's boat on a shirt. We're foregoing all of our logos for that. So, special thanks to Zillions for what she does.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we are way more organized with her helping us. The next person I want to give a shout out to she's here in chat, is Issei. Issei, if you've listened to the podcast, Issei and I's funny origin story at BlizzCon. And, Issei's been a fan of the Lost Codex for years. I've been a fan of her artwork for years. We met at BlizzCon. She met Zillions. We, talked with everybody. We just geeked out and talked everything about lore. And she was so amazed at the level of storytelling we go into. She's like, I want to be a part in some way. And first she was like, translations for my native language, anything art wise. And I said, you're offering your art. I was like, hey, like your art's pretty like, yeah, hell yeah. So she offered to paint a picture for the Zandalari episode 1 that we did. Her and I talked about. She painted the Pterodax rider, and I was expecting like some sketches, because one of Jeff's things that he likes to do with the lore video is it puts in like little sketches in the background. When you're looking at a really old text, you see all the text and then you see like rough sketches in the margins and little diagrams. That's what I was expecting, but like Issei style. And she's like, here, I did this, and sends me pictures on screen right now, and it's a full-blown painting. And I was like, how? And she's like, yeah, this is my entry. And I was like, entry? Like, it's not a contest. Sketch? I was like, I expected this. I was like, here, give me A. And she's like, here's the entire alphabet. And so since then, Issei has done so much for all of our lore videos. She's drawn 2 Zandalari pictures of the Pterodax, and the one with the Loa. It has Razan, Hyrik, and Shadra. She's drawn a live monk portrait of Alonzo's Fowl. She's done the Ajara transformation. And there's so many more that are coming in the future. There's some special projects that we're working with Issei on that aren't video related, that I will just leave hanging there. The other person the other amazing artist I want to give a shout out to is Quell Fabulous, because Quell Fabulous is the OG artist for our first shirts. You've probably seen Jeff and I wear our Lost Codex shirts.
Why aren't we wearing?
Why aren't we? I look like a lumberjack right now, and can't even tell I can't even tell what you're wearing. You're blend right in with your orange shirt. But
yeah,
Quell Fabulous, we commissioned her last year to do our Lost Codex logo, and we took a gamble with the shirt printing. I've never done shirt printing in my life, and we found commissioned Quell. Realized that you can't easily print colored shirts. It's usually screen printing. Didn't like how screen printing works, so I found a full color print site. It's called Allied Shirts. Shout out to Allied Shirts. I went to the reviews, and half the reviews were awful. The other half, 10 out of 10. Like, amazing. And I was like, oh god, this is a gamble. And I was like weeks before BlizzCon, so I closed my eyes. I just did it. And I selected the soft material for the shirt, so I paid a little bit extra. Front, Lost Codex. Why explain when I can show?
Mine is literally hanging somewhere in the back, I think, but...
Right here. So this is the Lost Codex technically this is Gen 2 shirt. This is Wave 2. So you have and honestly, the lighting from my lamp right now does not do it justice, because the colors are so good on this. So you have the open book, you have the ruins, the Lost Codex magical letters come flying out, and then we have the closed codex with the hollow core engraved in the cover on the back. And we actually, because we waited, we took a gamble with the website. It got shipped to California, so there was no time for mistakes. It was a one shot. So Jeff and I, delicately opened the shirts at BlizzCon, and we're like, oh god, this is it. And we open it, and we were... Jeff, what was your first thoughts? What was your first thoughts?
Well, my first thought, did we get the business cards before or after that? Because that's a whole other story.
This was after the business cards. So to summarize a quick story, we had already had three misprints with our business cards before this. So Jeff and I were expecting the worst with the shirts. We were already dreading, if we had 3 misprinted business cards from a certain company we won't name, how bad is our shirt? And it wasn't Allied Shirts who did our business cards, by the way. So we cut open the box, and Jeff, what was your first thoughts?
This is damn good. This is nice, soft, and colors look great. And I'm like, wow, can I have one?
Can I have a shirt? I said, sure. It is so soft. It is the softest shirt you will ever wear. And it just looked so when Quell saw it in person at BlizzCon, she's like, oh my god, it looks amazing. And that's where we kind of got inspired to do more merch. People ran up to me saying, can I buy a shirt? I was like, I literally have 4. And I don't have enough to sell. If I said yes to everyone, I can't give any away for a contest. So that's where the inspiration came to do merch. It was supposed to be just for advertising. I made all of my friends who stayed with us buy one. I said, support us, damn it. They all bought one. Z bullied us out of one and then gave us money. We gave one to Final Boss. He needs to wear it more on a stream, just saying. And we got inspired by Quell to do the merchandise. So special shout out to Quell for that. Because without that first design, we wouldn't have been inspired for the second wave. And she's also been helping coordinate the merchandise, some other merchandise alongside Zillions, for BlizzCon 2018 as well for the Lost Codex. So stay tuned.
Oh yeah, we have something good in store.
We have some stuff planned. If you're going to BlizzCon, in person, you get first peek.
Find us.
We'll get to that in a second. That sounds creepy. Find us at BlizzCon. Let's be clear. The other shout out I want to give a special shout out to is one of the most recent members of our team, Jack. Jack, my fabulous co-host, wine connoisseur. I don't know if he's in chat right now, but Jack and I go way back in talking about the lore. Him and I actually met on a roleplay realm. We met at Wormers Accord, Horde-side, in Brill, back in 2010. And Jack and I have been friends ever since. And one day I said, Jack, you need to come on the podcast. I need you to talk on the podcast with me. And he did. And it was such a flaw. All of my co-hosts to date, I've been worried that I'm going to lead the conversation astray. And it's been just a natural conversation. And Jack was no different. Getting him on to talk about Forsaken was the obvious first choice. And it just went with the flow. He's been on, I think him and Issei and I did 2 RP podcasts. We're going to come back to that series where Jack, Issei, and I talk about roleplay and all elements of World of Warcraft. Then one day I said, Jack, you want to record a reaction with me? I said, Jeff's going to edit, but, not necessarily doesn't want to be in the video. Do you want to be my co-analyzer? He's like, sure, I'll jump on. And the thirsty comments for Jack in the comments, ooh, man. It was Beauty and the Beast here. Beauty and the Beast. And it was, again, first time he was on camera for the Lost Codex, and we really got to dive in deep with Jaina. And yes, that was her dad's boat. And dive in deep with Sylvanas. And again, big Sylvanas fan. So it was really fun to rip apart every little detail and just gush about it in every way. And Jack is also an artist, and I can't talk about what he's doing for us yet, but there's something really cool coming, and I'm really excited to see it. So that's a to be announced very soon. So Jack is a reoccurring podcast host and analyzer, and the Lost Codex wine expert, and a presence in Discord. If you're part of our Discord community, he is one of the blue names you're going to see, and he is a very active member in our Discord. So come say hi. And the last member, the newest member of our team, and she did some recent stuff for us. Her name is Rachel, or you can find her on Tumblr, Rude Goblin. And I met her at BlizzCon 2016. She's actually a friend of a friend. She bought one of my spare BlizzCon tickets. And since then, I've commissioned her to do some little emojis, little emotes, and for Discord and for Twitch. And we haven't shown any, but we're gonna show some now.
We haven't submitted that to Twitch yet, have we?
No, we haven't. We need to do that. I need to learn how to do that first of all. But we're going to. I know how to do it on Discord. We're gonna show them right here. We're gonna show a couple right here. So I commissioned the first wave, and I thought we need some globes. You know, that's our logo, but we also need some emojis, and we need some books. So the first one is going to appear on screen here. So we have a little cool, right between Jeff and I, a little Codex globe with some glasses, little cool shade, little globy. And this is Discord and Twitch emoji. So this will be on Twitch as well as Discord. Discord is obviously going to be open to everyone, and the Twitch ones will transition over to Discord, so you're actually going to have duplicates. If you're a Twitch subscriber in our Discord, you'll see you can actually react with 2 of the Codex books, because we have the Codex book for Discord, then we have the Codex book for Twitch, and it transitions over. So technically, there's going to be 2 of the globe with the sunglasses. What else do we got here? We have a let's do the other globe one. This is one of my favorites. We have a really positive channel in the Discord. It's called the Selfie Channel. It's where everyone shares pictures of themselves and how beautiful everyone is. And I thought, I need a Codex emote that we could just react to everyone with this. And so, behold, Codex Hard Eyes. This one's one of my favorites on screen. And again, this is going to be a Twitch and the Cutie channel, not the Selfie channel. And so this is the other globe emoji. We're gonna have some other globe emojis. We're gonna have, I thought a top hat one would be fun, and some other ones. But these are the first 2 globe emojis that we're doing, for the Twitch and Discord. What else we got here? So we also needed some faction pride. Where's the Horde? Where's the Alliance characters? And I thought, all right, I could just submit a Horde logo or an Alliance logo. We need something that's a little bit more Codex. And so behold, the Horde Codex emoji, a Horde Codex, literally a Codex made from a horn and ripped pages and spikes and leather. This is the Horde logo emoji in game and in Discord and Twitch. It was a different color at first, but the color didn't pop, so we popped it a little bit more red, to give it that nice Horde spikes. Not enough spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 spikes. I know. At least 10 needed. I will go back to revisions. The Alliance one actually, let me see. No, I can't find it because Jeff will pop off camera there. The Alliance one actually kind of required a couple of revisions, because her first take for it was really like, very paladin-y, very, very golden, very Codex-like. But then you took the Codex and you shrunk it, and it was like, I can't see what it was. I really like the original as well, so I really just want to post that somewhere, just have it on screen. And so this one is the Alliance one, and I really like it as well. It's and it's heavy looking too. It is just a solid kill someone for the glory of King Anduin. Little bookmark there. This is the Alliance logo, the Alliance Codex. Oh, Jeff and I came up with a new word, by the way. globe in logo. It's the Lost Codex Globo. So this is a new Globo for us. We went for a Codex Libram look. Libram. What else we got? We got. I need an angry emote. And I thought, okay, an angry globe. We can do that anytime. What's something that I could do? And Rachel has this tendency with her art. She draws a lot of squishy, floppy things that are just so funny. And so this was her suggestion, and I loved it. And so this is just called a Gurlock. It's the most saltiest Murloc ever. It is so cranky looking. It's amazing. He is so fed up with all of your crap, Jesse. He does not want to do anything. I feel like this might be latest in a lot of the channels, just constantly just upset Murloc. Or a Gooby. Make that a $5 Twitch emote. There's 2 more coming. We're doing a Banhammer one. We're still kind of figuring out what it's going to look like to threaten anyone who with bans. Not that we actually ban people. It is always the call for bans, but it's a joke. Watch, now we're going to have to ban like 6 people because they're going to test our patience. And there's one more that may or may not be at all related to a certain father figure and a certain vessel that rides the ocean. Jaina's dad's boat may be an emote coming in the future. The first test that happened, does anyone remember Theodore Tugboat back in the day? Those boats with the faces. It was kind of like Thomas the Tank Engine, but boat style. Does anyone remember that show from their childhood? So picture that, but so you know who Thomas the Tank is?
Yeah, we had. I think he was on like an English channel, so it wasn't Dutch until I was too old for.
I'm picturing like a Netherlands version where it's a windmill with a face on it instead, or a bike with a face on it. I'm sorry, that's insulting to Dutch people. So picture Theodore Tugboat, only a little ship with Jaina's dad's face on the front of it, and his whole hat is the sails. It's amazing, hilarious. It doesn't translate well as a small emote, so we're going back to the drawing board. But that's coming.
Damn it, Jaina's dad.
Jaina's dad's boat. So those were done by Rachel. I'm going to put a link to her website down below. She's also an amazing voice actress as well. Crazy amount of range. Does a lot of crazy sketches. RachelBrett.net. Anyone who's listening to this right now. Is that the right website?
Pardon me?
That is the right website. RachelBrett.net. Brett is with 2 T's. You see a lot of her concepts and illustrations and stuff like that. It's awesome. Go check her out. Thank you, Rachel. More emotes and stuff will be coming from her in the future. She's also working on a little side project with Jack, an art-related project that is kind of under wraps for now, but will come to light eventually. We're getting a little bit late here, Jeffrey, so we're going to wrap this up as fast as possible here. We want to quickly talk about what our plans are for the future, immediate future. So I'm gonna just dive right in. A lot of you who've tuned into Decoded have been watching us live on Twitch, and now that my PC's up and running, I realize how much I missed streaming and how interactive it is. And Twitch is huge for us in terms of growth. People find us by accident. People find us by links from, we have constantly people. We've had Nobble share our streams. We've had Taryn Gregory share our streams. We've had many different podcasts, Azeroth Roundtable, Lagging Balls, Jay the Bard's hosted us. We have so many people who've hosted us that have found us through these other content creators and members of the community that if we ignored Twitch, that's just hurting us. That's actually doing us no favors. So that's going to be huge for us. We need to increase our Twitch presence. When we are in the middle of a production for a lore video, Jeff often, a couple days in a row, will stream the behind the scenes, and a lot of people like that. So when we get to that point in our upcoming lore video production, keep an eye out for some behind the scenes stuff. Watch on Twitter. Jeff always announces on Twitter when he's going into the Sanctum to do some behind the scenes work, and you can always watch the Twitch VODs after. And maybe once I get the hang of editing, I can actually upload these to Twitter and stuff, throw in some Beyond the Sanctum intros and outros, and people can watch it on YouTube after. We, Discord is an alternative to YouTube. I don't want to make this about Twitch versus YouTube, but in terms of growing live streaming, Twitch definitely seems to be the better option. I don't know much about YouTube streaming or the YouTube live, but I know a lot of people are going towards Twitch, and there's been some problems with YouTube, as we all know. So I'm not pointing in one direction and saying screw the other direction. I'm just saying that Twitch is going to be a plus for us. Anyone going to TwitchCon will actually get to see or meet us in person. Both Jeff and I and Zillions, brand manager, we're all going. We're going the week before BlizzCon in San Jose. So if you're going to TwitchCon, look for us. Look for the Lost Codex shirts. Maybe some new Lost Codex shirts. In terms of upcoming lore videos,
someone say shirts?
Did someone say pins? No one said pins. Loa.
You pinning something on me?
We have a upcoming plan for a Loa video. We've talked about the Loa in the Zandalari episode, but there's so many more Loa that I want to really do an immersive in Zandalar experience to talk about the different Loas, and that's going to take multiple videos because there's so many Loa. There's a million.
How about, and bear with me here, how about we do one of those lore videos on the Loa again, from the perspective of that Loa, and let that be the trash Loa.
That's actually great. A Johnny Holocore episode where Johnny hijacks the hollow trash, the Trashacore, and there's an entire episode narrated by Johnny.
Note that somewhere down, sir. I shall start on the trash core immediately.
Heck. We also have a plan for the Drust. I really want to talk about the Drust. I really got to finish this end of the Alliance storyline. There's a lot to talk about, and I really want to do using Drust spooky magic. Jeff has actually created some really cool Kultiris themed, we call them sets. So when we make a new theme for a video, it's a set for us, like a movie set. When we did the Antorus video, it was set on the Vindicar.
Yeah, I think it's actually like one of the last streams I did before Battle for Azeroth actually released, is where I made, I think, about 14 or 15 Kultiris pages for whenever we were going to do Kultiris related Codex episodes. So those are ready to go.
Those are ready to make.
Just needs, yeah.
We have the sets where the actual episode starts. People noted that a lot of our episodes start with different books at the beginning. Teldrassil has a very Night Elf themed set. There's the Argus set and the Eridar set and Zandalari set, etc. And then there's the pages. All the pages you see with all the pictures. Look at the backgrounds. Each of those is different and customized for every episode. Jeff makes 14 to 20 pages per theme. Kultiris, Eridar, Troll, Night Elf, Vrykul, all of it. And on top of that, we want to make an Uldir raid video. We meant to have that out with the launch of Uldir, but we just know so little about Uldir, and I'm slowly piecing the puzzles together. So that's going to come out. Don't worry. Just, it's not out yet.
I'm going to convince the latest to get me through that instance.
Latest, carry Jeff. Gooby, Chandran, carry Jeff.
Get me some loot. Pictures.
Pictures. Podcast, obviously, certain people, cough, Spalander, are waiting for me to finish the Alliance story zones so I can talk about what happens at the end of the Alliance stories. Jeff knows, I don't. And I want to do it all live. So that's coming. There's a Jaina topic coming. There's a death topic coming. That was a great suggestion by Spalander. A whole bunch of people actually suggested that. I remember earlier when I said that there would be no more BlizzCon in this podcast. I lied. BlizzCon is coming up, and there are many BlizzCon podcasts, by many I mean maybe two, coming up in the future to hype everyone up. The Lost Codex team will be there in full force. I'll be there. Jeff will be there. Zillions will be there. Jack will be there. Issei will be there. Quell Fabulous will be there. Rachel, who made the emotes, will not be there. But everyone else will be there. If you are a fan of Zuanich from the stream, or Shannon, or some guy named Jay the Bard, they're all going to be there. Everyone who has literally been on Decoded is going to be at BlizzCon. So if you're going, come say hi. If you see us, run up and just scream. Don't do that. That's gonna scare the crap out of me.
Yeah, don't scream.
We're gonna hide on our rooms for
yourself.
days. Introduce yourselves.
Be human.
be a respectable, socially appropriate human. But seriously, if you see us, don't be shy. Like, oh, I don't want to bother them. Bother us. Come up and say, hey, how's it? If we're in the bathroom, don't bother us. But come say hi. And there's many members in the Discord who are going. So if you're a member of our Lost Codex Discord and you want to, become a part of a community, well, there are people in the community who are going to be at BlizzCon as well. So there's going to be a whole bunch of us just hanging out, having a good time. There are plans for a meet and greet. We're hoping Con Before the Storm we can have another little table. That was super cool. It's where we met Jay the Bard last year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Met some of the guys from Merely a Setback podcast, whole bunch of stuff. So we're hoping that happens. If it doesn't, if it does, we're going to still be at all the other parties. Blizz Nerds is having a huge party. Check them out. It's going to be in the Hilton. Everything's in the Hilton, by the way. Wowhead, Blizz Nerds, Come Before the Storm. Don't leave the Hilton. Unless there's cool parties going on in the Marriott, you can do that. We're hoping for some interviews. No word yet, but we're hoping for another interview with anyone.
I am hard at work thinking about how to get things done technically, improve the quality on that end.
We're actually, Jeff, you want to mention your recent purchase?
Laptop. Yes, of course. I was like,
it's almost 1 a.m. for Jeff right now, so let's give him a little bit of slack. Here.
I got a new keyboard which has like macro keys so that I can work faster. And I actually got a laptop so I can actually produce some decent stuff while abroad. So that's the thing. Because last year we actually did the interview, but we literally couldn't do anything with it because I didn't have anything to edit it with. So that's the thing now. I'm going to go there. I'm going to edit. I'm going to get those videos out right quick.
We want to. We realized that, and this came as an afterthought. We really didn't prepare for this. When we found out that Zandalari druids could be raptors as travel form, no one else found that out. That was because of. I don't even want to say me. That was totally Shani Edwards. She looked at Alex. She said, "Can I tell them? Please, can I tell them?" So she revealed it, and like everyone, I had dozens of messages from different websites going, "Where did you learn this information?" Wowhead was like, "Hey, where's this from?" And I was like, "Oh, it's from a main review." Like, "Oh, can you link?" I'm like, "No, because we're still in California and we don't have a link." So I basically transcribed it and I gave Perk all the info and she gave us credit and all that. And I was like, we really didn't think about this. So we want to make sure we get our interview up, A, when it's relevant, not a week after, and B, the day of, or at least the night of. So again, YouTube algorithms, they work.
They work when you work with them, and our usual style just doesn't work with them. So we need to come together. We need to be friends with the YouTube algorithm.
And actually,
we need to choke it slightly and then become friends again.
We'll find a safe word.
Yeah.
If Jeff's actually recent purchase, I believe it's actually helped you to render one project while working on another.
Yeah, it still needs a little bit of work. I need to actually remember, like, I can actually keep on working. But it's also been kind of a little bit quiet as we both level through Battle for Azeroth, so I haven't had to use the full power of 2 workstations. But yeah, that's definitely something we can use. We can and will use it on.
Apologies for the dog barking. Agreed. It's something that allows for, when the 2-hour podcast is taking 2 hours to render, that's 2 hours Jeff couldn't make a thumbnail, for example. The thumbnail, we need to make that, those clickbaits count. So now he can render on one machine and work on the thumbnail on the other and stuff like that. So, and there's going to be some podcast stuff coming up. We're going to do a predictions podcast for BlizzCon. We're going to do a party pot, like an in-person prep or a virtual ticket prep. How to prepare yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, magically for BlizzCon. Guys, we've been rambling for a good long time. It is now almost 1 o'clock in the morning for Jeff, so special lost kudos to Jeff for staying up so late. Let's all give him a round of applause. Let's input that little sound clip of kids cheering, yay, confetti. Thank you, Jeff, for staying up till 1 a.m.
You're gonna make me do the confetti thing again, aren't you?
You don't have to if you don't want to. That's entirely your editing. If you don't put it in, I just look like a fool. Whatever. Jeff is going to go sleep. We are bringing this to a close, guys. Thank you so much for listening to episode 21, a reflection on the Lost Codex. Very rambly, but I thought, you know what? Jeff and I's intro podcast, we only talked about the intro of the Lost Codex. We didn't really talk about the happenings now. And now, 5 months in, I was confident to think we can talk about Decoded. We can talk about the changes that have happened recently. So help us get to 25,000 subscribers. Hell, let's make it 50,000. Help us. We're gonna be a presence here on Twitch, whether it's Jeff's behind the scenes, me yelling at lore things on stream, me playing, whatever. That's all happening. Guys, thank you so much for listening to episode 21 of Decoded, a Lost Codex podcast. Jeff, we will see you episode 40, right? It's gonna be every 20 episodes. It will just we'll have a special anniversary. I almost forgot. Just to put you on the spot here, Jeff.
Oh my.
Your birthday's next week. Your birthday's days away. So everyone, happy early birthday to Jeffrey, because that is soon. That is, what day are we? We are the 10th.
It's 9/11. It's over here. It's 9/11 already.
So
and
2 days for you.
My birthday is the 13th. Yeah.
So we
13th,
are.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. To Jeff. So thank you guys for participating in chat. Thank you everyone who's listening on YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that stuff. And we'll see you next week. I don't know what next week's going to be. I'm hoping it's Alliance theme so I can finish this. I'm hoping, because I really want to finish this, but no promises. Sorry, Splander. You might have to wait a little bit longer. But we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.